Hey, this is Dave with Hacking Rideshare with another video, and this one is for the passengers out there. We do a lot of videos for the drivers, but also passengers out there want to know how to use these services to the best of their abilities. So let's do one for you. Now, a lot of people, when they find out that I drive for both Uber and Lyft, if they're on an Uber, they ask me, "Oh, well, what's the difference with Lyft?" And same thing with Lyft. What's the difference about Uber? If they're unfamiliar with them. And to be quite honest with you, there are some subtle slight differences, but for the most part, they're very, very similar. Rideshare companies like Uber and Lyft, the best comparison I make for my passengers when explaining it to them, I say, well, there are some differences, but what's the difference between Coke and Pepsi? Not much. They're both colas. They're both around a lot, and you can find them in restaurants and on any street corner. It just all depends on your preference. Same thing with Uber and Lyft. There are very, very slight differences, but most people won't really notice one over the other. The first main difference that I found as a passenger is that there are more car options with Uber than with Lyft. Now, Lyft has two services. One's called Lyft, and the other one's called Lyft Plus. Lyft is for up to 4 passengers, so that'll be 4-door cars like a Prius or a Camry or something like that. Those cars qualify for Lyft. Those cars also qualify for Uber X, which is obviously the most affordable platform in the Uber portfolio. Then Lyft also has what's known as Lyft Plus, which is a passenger vehicle that can seat up to 6 passengers. Sometimes you can squeeze a 7th person in there. I drive a Honda Pilot, so between 3 in the middle, 3 in the back, and then 1 in the passenger seat, I can squeeze 7 people in there because I've got 7 seat belts. But typically, passengers that are requesting Lyft Plus will have a party of 6, 5 or 6. That equivalent is over on Uber, is called Uber XL. Same thing, up to about 6 passengers. Sometimes you can squeeze in a 7th depending on the type of vehicle that you drive. Now, that's where Lyft ends, and they only have Lyft and Lyft Plus, where Uber X and Uber XL goes beyond that. They have Uber Black, which is kind of like a black car, a Lincoln Town Car, one of those like luxury type vehicles. They also have Uber SUV, which is, as you might imagine, even a larger car. So we're talking like a Suburban or something of that nature, where even if you have a very much of a larger party, or you have a lot of luggage or packages or things like that, you need a much larger SUV type car, there's that option on Uber. You also have Uber Select, which is more of a luxury car as well. So think of something like Teslas or Mercedes-Benz, something that, if you want to look big pimpin' as you arrive at the club and you want to roll up in a really, really nice, expensive looking car, that's going to be Uber Select. They also have Uber Access, which is for folks with disabilities. So these might be vans that have wheelchair lifts or other accommodations for passengers with disabilities. So the car options on Uber and Lyft are vary a bit, but for the most of the passengers out there, you're going to be using Uber X and Uber XL or Lyft and Lyft Plus, because unless you have something that is extraordinary and a little bit different. Also, another one is that we discussed this in a previous video, is that tipping is allowed within the app. It's actually encouraged within the Lyft app. And they have a 1, 2, 3, 5 pre-selected options in there, and then an other where you can fill in a larger amount if you feel that you would like to be able to do that as well. Uber does not have any kind of tipping within the app. So if you do want to tip, I suggest that you carry some cash with you and tip your driver accordingly, or don't tip at all. It's up to you. It's completely a gratuity-based type of a system. So a lot of passengers have said that they prefer Lyft because it does give them the option to tip, rather than with Uber, they don't carry a lot of cash or any cash at all, and they just don't have the option to tip a driver if they really deserved it. Uber Surge versus Lyft primetime hours is a little bit different. This is when both companies will raise their prices a little bit, but with Uber, it's all based on supply and demand. So if 50 people hit the app all at once, let's say a concert gets out or a festival is over, and 50 or 100 people all hit the app at the same time and want to request a ride, but there's only 10 cars in the area, surge is going to go through the roof. Now with Lyft only does theirs on, and raises their rates on what they call prime time hours. So prime time hours is when they know that demand is probably going to be a little bit larger, and people are going to be hitting the app a little bit more than normal, so then they raise their prices to encourage more drivers to get out there and to make some money and to meet that demand. So when it comes to that, they do have higher prices at different times of the day. It's just that with Uber, it's all based on supply and demand, and with Lyft, it's based on times and areas in which you will drive during the course of the day. And then also the last one that I've noticed here in Orange County, this may be very much different in your area of town where you particularly pick up rides. I know in San Francisco, Lyft is a lot more popular than Uber, probably because that's where Lyft is based and was founded. But in other areas, Uber might be more popular and therefore have more drivers on the road, because obviously if more people are using Lyft or using Uber, there's probably going to be more Uber drivers out there to be able to meet that demand. So, for example, here in Orange County, Uber is a little bit more popular. Uber has that name recognition to the point where people are using Uber like it's a verb. Much like Google, you say, hey, just Google it. Most people will say, hey, just Uber. And Uber is now the verb for taking a ride share instead of a cab or a taxi. So the difference is that, download both apps and find out which app works the best for you. Hopefully you've had a promo code. We have in a previous video that we've given out promo codes for free rides. We'll include that graphic here in the video as well. If you're a brand new Uber or Lyft rider or both, feel free to use the code and get some free rides and try both out. But both apps are great for passengers. My wife and I, we use it whenever we go out to dinner. The check will come, we'll both break out our phone, one of us will open up Uber, the other one will open up Lyft, and we'll definitely figure out which one is the best for us, which one's on surge, which one has a driver closest to us. So if you enjoyed this video, hit like. If you want to see more of these videos, hit subscribe, or if you have a question or a comment, leave a comment down below. So thanks for watching Hacking Rideshare, and we'll be back with another video real soon. So thanks for watching.